Aqui é a Reunião Office 5521 Private Room, the ultimate underground experience. My gym time space, and then we will have here kind of the continuity of things that we are doing low tech, which is the basic idea is something like this. We could have on our mind that we will try to set a control model. This control model was presented as something like this, considering the effort made, and we had, for instance, the provider of something, the field of consume related with the provider. Here we have consumers related with the provider. We are kind of changing the composition, but in the end we will have the same result. You have the structure alpha, which can be, for instance, the application of this thing, resulting change result. In a way, the result is made. Then we will observe that the premise to observe this model was something like this. We have our environment, and we will kind of observe that we have a structural failure in the middle. We will have a division segmenting this failure and observe the environment. Now and then we could observe that we have the situation like this. We will check that we are observing the period Brazil geopolitical space 2012-2021, at least preventive control. Did it happen by the corruption, top-down corruption scam? Consider international system, we have international corruption scam. The KRM gave me the perception about these things, which is the positive one, presented as regular argument inside an institution with an interval always guilty. It's a corruption case, they are guilty for sure always. 00, which is the criminal positive one, and then we observe that criminals are so criminal as the corrupted. Variable inside a regular institution present themselves as regular. We can have this, for instance, by analogical and inference perception with a contract that indeed is used to have the overprice or the low price, or they have the price management according with circumstance and interest, but it's not regular, it's a fraud scam. Then we could observe that the database Sigma as model allowed me to understand that I have my environment A, I have my environment B with small fields of interest, which was this area here. As you could observe, the sampling group inside the big array. In the same way, we will have this by the patterns offered, considering the provider of the thing and the interest that belong to this thing. And this integration of two both will give me the situation as A, C, and B. Triple fields of interest model had exploded. The risk report 2021 tracealgos.blogspot.com. Now we will observe that we had the preventive control from Europe, considering the FIFA and Olympics, both from Europe. Systematical silence of both, related with public budget Brazil 2012-2021, all embassies involved. All under flagrant delicto, we set the GSS, Euro. Right? Then we could observe that this price management, inflation, and all corrosive arguments inside the economy give me the second model, which is the CSS, the Chicago School Square, America. Right? Now we can observe that we have the Bank of Development in Brazil, and this Bank of Development in Brazil have a lot of problems, a lot of fraud scams, considering the main driver, which was the argument used to describe this scam, the creativity account that we had in the same way, all financing by risk, at least the possibility, the terrorism, Article 6 of the terror law in Brazil, all involved at the past continuity of scam. Systematical silence as code under intimidation and threats from institution, culture or fear. Culture of fear, a little bit bigger, is the culture of terror. Terrorism came from our institution even by silence. You will be here on America, I would say. We had the GSS Europe, we had the CSS America, and we will have the CSS Brazil, which means crap situation or crap shit situation. And then you will check the video that we have below this presentation, which is the model when we had denied in all areas, denied by many companies, denied by almost everybody. The only group I would say that I think that entrusted me and have the encouragement to have this was the Federal Bureau of Investigation USA, the Military Defense America, and part of the IIA, the NATO, and the OECD. Then we observe that we had the arguments to have our boat considering the GSS Europe, considering the CSS America, considering the CSS, which means the crap and shit situation, Brazil, South America. They both are under the open data presentation from Public Budget Brazil catching up procedure UNST. You violate all this. Here we have our boat. Promise made, promise kept. No related with the politics or something, but we are the key rules. This is kind of at that time the Thin Tram campaign. We believe in that speech, and for sure it's the better speech for America, despite I do not like politics. Have a nice night. The house is on fire.